Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with a new video today. So today's topic will be on ISO 20022 payment message, and that is pacs.008. We will dedicate our video to pacs.008, which stands for Customer Credit Transfer Message. This particular message is used when money is being sent from one customer to another customer through banks. This particular payment is important for cross-border payments, RTGS, Swift payments, and modern payment platforms. Now that we know the topic, let's understand why pacs.008 is worth learning in the first place. So pacs.008 sits at the heart of global payment transformation. It is used in Swift CBPR Plus for cross-border payments. Many RTGS and high-value payment systems are also adopting ISO 20022 messages or format. That means banks are moving from older message formats to richer structured XML messages. From the perspective of business analysts and testers, this becomes very important. You need to understand the field mapping, the validation rules, the message transformation, the payment status, repair queues, ML check, and audit trail. Now let's begin with what is pacs.008. So the full technical name is FI to FI, Customer Credit Transfer, which means financial institution to financial institution customer credit transfer. For simple understanding, you can memorize it as bank to bank customer payment instruction. It means one bank sends a customer payment instruction to another bank. Now the word PACS belongs to the payment clearing and settlement message family. The message is written in the XML format, and that is the reason why it is structured and machine readable. PACS message or instruction is originated at the debtor's bank that tells other banks about the customer payment. PACS message is used in both cross-border and domestic payment. Let's understand pacs.008 using a very simple banking example. So imagine we have a character named Rahul. So Rahul has an account with HDFC Bank in Mumbai. He wants to send 50,000 rupees to Priya, who has an account with ICICI Bank in Delhi. From Rahul's point of view, this is very simple. He enters Priya's account details, amount, and purpose, and clicks submit button. But from the banking system's point of view, many things actually happen in the backend. Now HDFC has to validate Rahul's account, has to check the amount, create the payment instruction, identify ICICI as the receiving bank, and send the structured message. That structured message is pacs.008 message. In simple words, Rahul does not create pacs.008. The bank's payment system creates pacs.008 on behalf of Rahul. So think of pacs.008 as the official courier envelope that carries Rahul's payment instruction to Priya's bank, that is ICICI Bank. Hope this example is clear. Now let's see where pacs.008 is used in real payment system. First, it is widely used in the cross-border payment scenarios. For example, if an Indian company pays a supplier in Singapore, the bank may exchange the pacs.008 message through the Swift CBPR Plus network. Earlier, it used to the exchange, the message used to the message used to be handled using MT103 in the previous MT word. Second is pacs.008 can be used in RTGS system as well, and I hope everyone know what RTGS is. RTGS is a real-time gross settlement. These are mostly called high value payment. Here RTGS is the payment infrastructure, and pacs.008 can be the message format inside this infrastructure. Third is pacs.008 is also important in the correspondent banking. Suppose HDFC needs to make a USD payment but not directly settle in the US. So it may use a correspondent bank, and nostro-hoster accounts will come to the picture. In this flow, pacs.008 carries the customer payment instruction. Then pacs.008 is useful for corporate bulk payment as well, like vendor payments, salary payment, and supply payments across countries. Fifth is it is used by payment hubs and market infrastructure. A payment hub basically acts like a traffic controller inside the bank. It receives payment from different channels and routes them to the Swift, RTGS, clearing systems, or other networks. Finally, PAX is also very important in ISO 20022 migration. Banks are moving from older message format, that is empty message format, which are text based, to richer XML based messages, and pacs.008 is one of the key messages in that journey. So pacs.008 is not theoretical, it is very much used in the real payment modernization programs. Now let's understand pacs.008 in using one simple diagram. Basically, let's start from the left. So here we have the debtor customer. In simple word, debtor means the sender, the person who is going to or who is sending the money. Debtor gives a customer instruction. Debtor gives a customer instruction to debtor agent. Debtor agent simply means the sender's bank. For example, if Rahul is sending money from HDFC Bank, then Rahul is the debtor customer, HDFC is the debtor agent, which we have already discussed in the previous example. Now here's the important part: the sender bank, the sender's bank or debtor agent processes the pacs.008 message. This message carries the payment instruction, like who is sending the money, who is going to receive the money, how much is the amount, which currency, what banks are involved, and other payment reference details. Then this pacs.008 message moves to the clearing or intermediary system. This could be even a Swift or in cross-border payment, an RTGS in a domestic high-value payments, or any intermediate banks in a correspondent banking network. From this, from here, the message again moves as a pacs.008 to the creditor agent. Now, creditor agent means the receiver's bank, and finally, the creditor agent will credit the account of the creditor. Creditor means the receiver, the beneficiary. So here, in from this particular flow, you must have understood that pacs.008 is the message. It is not actually the money. So here only message is being flowing from one end to the other end. Okay. Now let's identify the actors involved in this message. So this you already have we already discussed in while discussing about examples. So the first actor or the first party is the debtor. Debtor means the person who is sending the money. That's it. The second party is the debtor agent. Debtor agent means it is the bank where the sender is holding an account with. Then third party is the creditor. This is the person or company receiving the money. That is a beneficiary basically. And fourth party is the creditor agent. Creditor agent basically means the beneficiary's bank. That's the bank where beneficiary has their account. Then we also have this instructing agent, instructed agent, intermediary agent. This become important when payment moves. This become important when payment moves to multiple banks. In simple words, debtor and creditor are customers. Debtor agent and creditor agent are banks. In fact, wherever you see this agent, the agents are mostly the banks and the financial institution. If you map these roles incorrectly, the payment may go to the wrong bank or fail validation. So that is a point to be remembered. Now let's compare pacs.008 with Swift MT103. Now this is very important because many people understand MT103 very well, but they also get confused when banks talk about ISO 20022 and pacs.008. So in the empty world, MT103 is the equivalent of pacs.008 in the ISO 20022 world. So if earlier the system were basically communicating through MT103 message format, now they are migrating to the XML format, which is pacs.008. MT103 is the older Swift fin message, and pacs.008 is the modern ISO 20022 message for customer credit transfer. So the first difference is the format. Now let's see the difference between these two, MT103 and pacs.008, even though they are equivalent. The first difference is the format. So MT103 uses the Swift fin text blocks and the field text like field 50, 59, 57, 70, 23, and so on. And pacs uses the XML format, which is more structured and hierarchical and of hierarchical nature. Second is the data richness. MT103 has limited and often free text fields. And pacs.008 carries richer structured data with proper codes. This helps bank understand the payment more clearly. Third is the address field. Uh, in MT103, address details are usually squeezed into limited free text lines, whereas in pacs.008, addresses are structured into like street, city, country, postcode, and other field. This is very helpful for compliance and screening. Fourth is the remittance information. MT103 has limited space for remittance information, but pacs.008 can carry structured details like creditor reference, invoice number, and purpose code. So reconciliation becomes easier with pacs.008. Fifth fifth is a regulatory data and identifiers. So MT103 mainly supports big based identification, but pacs.008 can support big legal entity identifier (LEI), national identifiers, purpose code, categories, and regulatory reporting information. Yeah, and finally the status tracking. Status tracking is more structured in the ISO 20022 world. In the old world, in the MT world, status replies may come through MT199 or MT299. In the ISO 20022 world, pacs.002 gives the structured status updates with proper region codes. So over and above this are the differentiating factors between MT103 and pacs.008. MT103 is a legacy and limited format, whereas pacs.008 is structured, data rich, and automation friendly. Next, let's open the pacs.008 message and understand its high level structure. So the message pacs.008 message has two major areas. The first is the group header, and the second is the credit transfer transaction information. So the group header, think of this particular block as the envelope of the message. It contains the message level information like your message ID, the creation date time, number of transaction, the settlement information, instructing agent, the settlement method, instructed agent, and so on. The second is your credit transfer transaction information. This is the actual payment payload. It contains the payment IDs, it contains the amount, settlement amount, the debtor information, the debtor agent information, the banks, the charges, purpose, remittance details, and so on. So think of it like sending a courier. The envelope. So this is basically the envelope. When the courier that this envelope says when the courier was created, who created it, and how many items are inside, and the package inside contains the actual payment details, and this resembles with the package which is inside this envelope. So group header gives you the message level information. This gives you the message level information, whereas credit transfer transaction gives you transaction level information. Now let's understand the important fields inside a pacs.008 message. And this slide is like a plain English dictionary of pacs.008. This field names may look a bit technical to you, but each field has a very simple business meaning. Let's start from the left. The message ID. So in short, it is MSG ID. This basically means message ID. This is the unique ID of the pacs.008 message. Think of it like the file number of the message. Then we have this particular. This represents the creation date time. It tells us when this payment message was created. Then we have this which represents number of transaction. Here it is. In the previous example, it is 1. Here the example it is 1, meaning this message is carrying only one payment transaction. Then we have the instruction ID. This is usually the bank's own reference for the payment instruction. Then we come to a very important field, which is EndToEndId. This is the reference that travels from the customer's original instruction until the final credit to the beneficiary. In simple words, it helps connect the complete payment journey. Next is UETR. UETR basically stands for Unique End-to-End Transaction Reference. It helps banks track the payment globally. Then we have the interbank settlement amount, which means this is the amount basically. This is the amount banks settle between themselves. Then we have the interbank settlement debt. This is the date on which the banks expect the settlement to happen. And then we have the debtor slash name. This is the debtor. This represents the debtor name in the pacs.008 message. This is debtor name, and then we have creditor name, or that is a beneficiary name. Then we have debtor agent, that is the sender bank's details. This is creditor agent, this is the beneficiary bank details, and then we have remittance information. This particular element carries the details about the payment purpose, invoice number, or reference details. For example, your invoice number like this. So these fields are not just XML text; these are mapping points. The validation points. Some of them could be reconciliation points and investigation points as well. Because UETR is so important, let's give it a separate explanation. So UETR basically stands for Unique End-to-End Transaction Reference. It is a globally unique reference, usually in this universally unique identifier format. It looks like a long string. With numbers, letters, and hyphens. In simple words, UETR basically helps to track a payment from start to end. Think of UETR as the tracking number you get when you order something online. Similarly, UETR helps banks, payment operations team, and sometimes customers track where a payment is in the same. In SWIFT, GPI, and cross-border payments, this becomes extremely important for transparency. You must check whether the UETR is generated, UETR is in valid UUID format, and UETR remains unchanged across the payment chain. Now let's look at another important reference, that is EndToEndId. EndToEndId is the reference that links the payment from customer side to the final beneficiary side. So when Rahul has initiated a payment, the bank or the initiating system may assign a reference like Rahul to a reference like this, Rahul to Priya.001. So this reference travels through the payment chain without being changed. So in simple words, EndToEndId helps everyone understand that the payment received by the Priya's bank is the same payment that Rahul has initiated. EndToEndId is also useful for reconciliation, customer support, then investigations, and matching payment status messages. Now do not get confused between the EndToEndId and UETR. UETR is a global tracking reference, and EndToEndId is the end-to-end business payment reference. Okay. Now let's clear one of the biggest, the confusions that mostly beginners encounter. There is a message movement and the money movement. Now pacs.008 is the instruction, and settlement is the actual financial movement or accounting adjustment. In payments, messages move through SWIFT or a clearing network, but the actual money settlement may happen through your RTGS accounts, central bank money, nostro accounts, correspondent banking accounts, or deferred net settlement. In some systems, messages and settlements are almost the real time, whereas in some systems, settlement may happen later in a batch. So this concept is very important because you need to verify both sides. You need to verify the message status and the accounting and settlement status. A payment may be technically accepted as a message, but still not finally credited to the beneficiary. So never assume that message sent means money received. Now let's look at a simplified pacs.008 XML sample. Now by looking at this big message, first don't worry if this looks too technical. The goal is not to memorize every XML tag here. The goal is to understand the main building block of the message. So at the top, we have the document. This is the root of the ISO 20022 XML message. Inside that, we have FI to FI customer credit transfer, which is the main pacs.008 message block. In simple words, this tells us this is a financial institution to financial institution customer credit transfer. Now if we further come down below, we start with the group header. We have already looked at it. So group header is the group header basically gives you the message level information. So this is like the envelope of the message. It contains details like your message ID, creation date time, number of transactions, settlement information, and so on. Below that we have credit transfer transaction information. This particular block basically contains the actual payment transaction section. Inside this, the first payment block is your payment ID or payment identification. Here we see the instruction ID, end-to-end ID, UETR, transaction ID. These are the references used to identify and track the payment. Then we have the payment type information. This tells us the system what type of category the payment is. Next, we see amount and settlement details, like interbank settlement amount, settlement date, charge bearer. In simple words, this tells banks how much money is being settled on which date and who bears the charges. Next, move to the middle part. Uh, Here we see the banks and parties. Here, instructing agent is the instructing bank. Instructed agent is the instructed bank. Debtor is the sender customer. Then debtor agent is the sender's bank. Then we have creditor agent, who is the receiver's bank. Then creditor, who is the receiver. Finally, at the bottom, we have the purpose, why this payment has been initiated. Then we have the remittance information as well. So this shows the payment purpose and invoice or remittance details. So this is how the pacs.008 XML message looks like. Okay, before a bank processes pacs.008, it must validate the message. So before a pacs.008 payment is processed, the system checks whether the mandatory fields are present or not. It checks whether big codes are valid or not. It checks whether the currency code is valid or not, like INR, USD, or Euro. It checks whether the amount is greater than 0. It checks whether the account numbers or the IBANs are valid based on the country and the payment rule. It checks for duplicate as well, so that the same payment is not processed twice. It also performs sanction screening and ML checks. If the name matches a sanctioned person or a suspicious pattern, the payment may go to a hold or a manual review queue. Settlement date is also validated. You cannot simply settle on a holiday or past that if the system does not allow it. So these validations are very excellent for preparing the test cases. Now, if you are a BA or tester working in any payment project, this slide will give you a project checklist. So as a BA, you need to understand how the business requirements are mapped to the XML fields. You need to define the transformation rules, especially if the bank is migrating from MT103 or internal bank formats to pacs.008. You need to understand the payment status journey, like accepted, rejected, pending, completed, repair, return, and so on. You also need to define what happens when the validation fails. Does the payment get rejected? Does it go to repair queue? Does an operation user fix it? Or is a notification sent? For tester, the focus is also on the different cases, like positive cases, negative cases, boundary cases, duplicate cases, AML hit cases, and status response cases. In the real banking world, one pacs.008 flow can involve multiple systems, such as it can involve channel, payment engine, screening system, core banking, nostro, accounting, reconciliation, and so on. So your test design must cover the complete end-to-end journey and not only the XML creation. Right now, let's discuss common error scenarios in pacs.008 processing. So one common error is invalid BIC. So if the debtor agent or creditor agent BIC is wrong or not recognized, the message can fail. The pacs.008 message can fail. Another common error is account issue. It could be missing account. It could be due to missing account, wrong format, closed account, or invalid IBAN. The currency can also be a factor behind the failure if the payment route does not support the currency. Insufficient funds is a business error. The customer may not have enough balance, or the balance may not have sufficient nostro liquidity. Then settlement date. Errors happen when the date is in the past or a non-business day or after a cut-off time. We have duplicate message. Duplicate message error occurs when the same message ID, UETR, or reference is received again. Sanctions and AML are very important. These payments may not be rejected immediately, but they may be held for manual review. Payment processing may also throw error if any mandatory field is missing. So each row here in this particular slide can give one test case or one use case in a payment project. Now let's understand what pacs.008 where pacs.008 sits among other ISO 20022 messages. Because pacs.008 does not work alone, it belongs to a family of related ISO 20022 messages. So at the center of this diagram, we have the pacs.008 customer credit transfer. This is the main payment instruction message. In simple words, pacs.008 tells the banking network who is paying, who is to be paid, how much money is being transferred, which banks are involved, and what this payment is for. But in real banking, one message alone is not enough. A payment may need status updates, cancellation, return, settlement support, account reporting, and so on. That is why pacs.008 works well with other related messages. Now let's start with pacs.002. This is the payment status report. So it tells whether the pacs.008 payment is accepted, rejected, pending, or completed. Then we have pacs.004. This is used for payment return. If the payment reaches the receiving bank, but the beneficiary account is closed or invalid or cannot be credited, in that case, fund may be returned to the sender back using pacs.004. Then we have pacs.009. This is financial institution credit transfer. If in cover payment scenarios, pacs.008 carries the customer payment instruction, while pacs.009 may carry the bank-to-bank or cover settlement leg. Now come to MT103. This is cancellation request. If the sender bank wants to cancel a payment after sending it, it may send KMT056. Then we have KMT029. KMT029 is a response or resolution to that cancellation request. It tells whether the cancellation is accepted or rejected. Then we have KMT053 and KMT054. These are account reporting and notification messages. KMT053 is generally used for account statements, and KMT054 is generally used for your notifying the debit and credit. So this helps banks and customers confirm that account entries have been posted. So the simple way to remember this diagram is, so pacs.008 basically starts the customer credit transfer. Pacs.002 basically gives the status. Pacs.04 gives handles the return transaction. Pacs.009 supports the cover or bank-to-bank settlement. KMT.056 request for cancellation. KMT.029 responds to the cancellation, and KMT.053 or 054 basically provide account reporting and notification. Now I will try to bring separate videos for each of these messages in the upcoming videos, in the upcoming days. So your end-to-end test cannot stop at pacs.008. You need to understand the response, the return, cancellation, and reporting messages too. That covers that brings all other associated ISO messages. Okay, and with this we come to the end of this session. If this video has helped you understand the pacs.008 in simple language, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and also share it with anyone who is learning the payments, ISO 2022, Swift, or any banking domain. Also comment below which message you want me to explain next. For example, pacs.009, pacs.002, KMT056, or MT103 versus pacs.008, etc. Thank you for watching. Keep learning, keep building your banking domain knowledge, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.